Get yourself comfortable, guys. Get yourself a drink. This is going to be a long one. And yes, that's what she said. So I got an email last night off of a guy called Josh. You guys might know him as Harley Designs, and it was inviting me to do a speed challenge, which instantly perked my interest. But this isn't any speed challenge, this is with the Vanquish Phoenix, the straight axle one. So a rock crawler. So after a few minutes of discussing the challenge, of course I'm getting involved. So big shout out to Harley Designs and Scale Builders Guild as well, because it's both of them that are doing this challenge. Let's get on it. So we are building a rock crawler and we need it to go fast. Speed and power.
Speed and power. Speed, 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 speed. Real speed. Ramming speed. Raw, naked.
I've been having a bit of a sort out. And I think somewhere up here, there it is. Oh, come with me. Under here, we have a castle motor and a Sidewinder 4, and they are not in use at the moment. I'm not sure what kV that is. Let's whip it out and have a look. 7,700 kV. This thing's gonna spin quite fast. The Sidewinder 4 will only run up to 3S as part of the rules. You can run up to 4S. I think we'll give this a go first, and then I've got a backup if this doesn't work. I've got a slightly lower kV castle motor, and I've got a copper head that we can use. So the deadline for this is the 31st of October. It's currently the 24th of September. It's 9:34 in the morning. I expect it's going to be another week or so before the Phoenix kit arrives, so I've got some stuff to do. I've got some reviews to get on with. But first, I think I need another coffee. So I just sat around playing with Hot Wheels, waiting for YouTube to pay me. That's what I usually do.
Get this. That's $1 million in cash right there, $1 million in cash.
Thinking, I've got about a week before this project turns up. Well, turns out I only had 2 days before it arrived. This got here quicker than some model shops in the UK can get stuff to. I mean, it's come all the way from, I think it's come from California. But we haven't got time today really to do much of it because I've got loads of other stuff on. I've got to play more Hot Wheels. So I think we need to come back tomorrow and have a good look over what's in this kit. And then I'll tell you what my initial plans are. I'll see you tomorrow, which will be about now. Good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday out there. And we're inside. So we're gonna get this out of the box and gonna look what's in it, then we're gonna discuss what I'm gonna do first. This is probably a good time to talk about the challenge a little bit more. It's called the VSpeed Monthly Mayhem. It's hosted by Scale Builders Guild and Harley Designs. Along with them two and myself, there's also K-Pop RC, there's RC Review, CCX RC, West Desert Wheeler, and also Turks and Jerps. There's a set of rules, we'll have a look at them in a minute, but first, let's just get everything out of here. Look at that gearbox, that is mad. Selectable overdrive, so 6.5%, high overdrive, 46%, and it's got a freewheel, 2-wheel drive as well. That is mad, look at it. That is going to be a pain to build, I am sure. Anyway, some of the rules, I've got them down here so I don't forget them. Basically, it's to push this VX4, the straight axle Vanquish Phoenix, to the highest top speed. Reach the highest top speed. Got to use the Phoenix with the F10 straight axles. Can upgrade the axles though with knuckles, gears, etc. Must use the chassis rails, cross members, skid plates, shock towers, etc. can be changed or modified. Rails can be modified but must retain majority intact. Still function as a structural chassis, you can't just zip tie them to another chassis, for example. Oh, I was going to stick it on top of my infraction. Still use suspension. Front and rear axles must still have reasonably measurable suspension travel, fair enough. No locking out your shocks. Got to use the body, and why wouldn't you? Because it looks amazing. Can be trimmed and modified as desired. Forward propulsion must come from mechanical drive of axles to tyres. No rockets, free fall assist, sails, black holes, riding inside another vehicle, tow cords, etc. I guess I won't be needing these then. Damn it. Speed must be measured with GPS, yeah. 4S battery max, so I'm going to be running the Sidewinder 4, which is only 3S at the moment, but we may be able to up that with the Copperhead. Got to do all the work yourself, apart from you can get someone else to paint the body. Wheelbase must be plus or minus 2-inch tolerance, and then there's some stuff on the social media side of it. The stuff that's free, no limits on motor, no limits on transmission, no limits on tyres and wheels. That is a game changer, I think. I've tried to get a crawler fast before and using the actual crawler tyres. Nah, you ain't going anywhere. They just balloon way too much. Anyway, no limit on tyres and wheels. No track width restrictions and no restrictions using 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive or centre diffs. Nice. There's also little bonus points there as well. And then the rest is just on video format and stuff like that. So the box has got lots of, it's very well compact in that little box there. Obviously what the body, there's your wheels and tyres, interior, rear part of the body, because I think it's got like a cage at the back. Kindly, Josh got some spares sent out to me as well. So I've got some steering hub, bare axle housings. We don't get Vanquish products in the UK, so if I broke something, it'd probably be game over for the project because I wouldn't be able to get the stuff in time. Well, this arrived in 2 days, but anyway, so that looks like some of the body accessories and bits and pieces. More, that's interior stuff, front grille in there, rear axle, all metal gears, bearings, parts of the chassis rails, suspension links, they've got a nice weight to them, suspension, drive shafts, and all the gears for the gearbox and stuff. There's nothing about starting before October, but I'd rather wait till the 1st of October before we actually get into the meat of this. And because October isn't for another week, let's get this built and take it out for a crawl, because that is not part of this competition. But there's nothing in the rules that say I can't build this and use it as a crawler first. Roll the build montage. So first issue, I was going to put a Hobby Wing Fusion just to get it out, just to take it for a crawl. That's not the motor obviously we're going to be using, but it doesn't fit. It looks like a tight fit for any 550 in there. So I've just got a 5-slot Reedy just to put in there, just to give it its kind of little shakedown on the rocks. This gearbox went together really well. It looks so complicated on the box, but actually it goes together really well. So there's your selectable overdrive and there's your dig function. Lovely. Very nice. Everything goes together so well. Suspension as well. The reservoir, these come pre-built. All you have to do is put your shaft together. I've just put a little bit of this shock O-ring grease on. Poke it up in there.
That's what she said.
Shaft goes in. Pull that down. Comes with oil, so drop the old oil in. Bit of a pump, get them air bubbles out. O-ring over there. Wind the top in. Throw the shock end on while we're here. And you've got this tiny little plastic washer, goes on there. Slowly push the shock all the way down. Screw it in, spring on, spring retainer on. Screw that little fella in. So many that's what she said I could have done throughout this. Pop the old ball in, voila. So gearbox all done. That could be mounted in there now. Most of the chassis done. 60 kilo Demond servo should be enough for that. Suspension. Already made all the links up as well. Again, really good quality. They got some weight to them as well, which is going to be good. Right, gearbox to go in there. Links on, axles on, probably suspension on. We're not far off. Let's go. Well, that was a full day. I wanted to at least get it rolling, but we didn't. Chassis is pretty much there. I was just starting the tyres and the bead locks, and I got this one pretty much all the way done up, and then it came off the bead there. So we're gonna call it a day for today. I got some other stuff I need to get on with the rest of this week, so we'll box it up and we'll get back to it as soon as we can. We'll hide it in that box just so no one sees it while I'm recording other videos. Ta-da! far. So stage 1 complete. I'm not painting it until we've got it set up for speed. What a really nice build, like really nice. Probably the best kit I've built, actually. There was a few niggly bits, some of the screws in the side of the chassis. It was a bit of a pain to get some of them in, but it all went together. I love the back end on this, all that frame in there. It looks really cool. It'll look even better when we paint it. So I've just thrown some electronics in there just to take it out for a crawl. Just a cheapo radio for today. We'll be using my W-Flight X9 though for the running of it. And I've just got the GPS adapter as well. So we'll rig the GPS up. I've got my Sky RC one as well. So we should have 2 ways of reading the speed. We've got that big 60 kilo Demond in there. It's at 8.4 volts. Quick run BEC is 7.4. Not fitted any servos for the dig and overdrive. The dig is just there, and then the overdrive is the other side. I think a servo fits in there for the dig, and then I think there's one under there for the overdrive. I can't remember. I think that servo's up to the job, don't you? Now, the good thing about this dig and this overdrive, you can actually lock them out. So if you don't want them to move, you can lock it out. So if I bring the dig back now, so dig function, it locks the back wheels in and just powers the front wheels. That allows you to get really tight around corners. It's also good if any of you watch Matt's Off-Road Recovery, which I'm sure a lot of you do. He uses that function to bury the truck in the ground when he's winching, so not just about turning tight. Anyway, in the center position for that dig, you can actually freewheel the rear, which is really cool. And then forward, locks it in. And obviously you've got that selectable overdrive. So if I put white tape on both the tyres there, this is stock. I think there's still some overdrive. I think there's 6% on the front. So you should see this moving faster. Yeah, there you go. So that's stock form. Front wheel's moving slightly faster than the rear. Selector back like that. Now, this should be, I'm sure it's 40 odd %, which is mad. Yeah, look at that. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy overdrive on the front there. We certainly don't want 40% overdrive. We should be all right with 6 on the front. Might keep it nice and straight, but we shall see. So this is ready now for me to go and have a quick play on the rocks with it. When I make things go fast, I like to keep them as stock as possible. Now, that's not just a cop-out, but I do want to use this after speed challenge. I want to get them servos in so we've got optional overdrive and dig and make it into a really nice crawler. So I don't want to cut and shut it too much. We'll do what we need to do, but going to keep it as stock as possible. I think just getting that suspension down a little bit lower so it's still got a little bit of movement. You can see there, I've got that quite low now and there's still a little bit of play there in it. Might be able to work on the aero a little bit. Got some wheels in mind, but we'll go over that in a bit. Anyway, it's the last day of September. The speed challenge officially starts tomorrow, even though most of us have started fiddling about and stuff. The official monthly Mayhem starts tomorrow, and I think I'm going to work on the wheels first for this, and then we'll look at the suspension. Anyway, the rocks, Batman. Whoa. So that's that job done. This thing crawls really well, really nice. It's going to be even better once I've set it up properly with the dig and the overdrive. Anyway, that's not what we're doing on this video. We've got to strip all that out now and make it go fast. Shake and bake.
I got a message for all of them. Ready? Shake and bake. Shake and bake. Yeah.
So first thing I have to do is remove all the temporary electronics in there, get that brushed motor out. Can't really do it with it in situ, so battery tray off, gearbox out, motor out. Castle one thrown in there with a 13-tooth stock pinion. Put it all back together, got that Sidewinder 4 ESC in, and it's ready for its bench test. Right, electronics thrown in. Stuck a 2S in it. We're just going to switch it on, make sure the motor's running the right way. It's a censored motor, but ESC is uncensored. So swapping the leads will change the motor rotation. So I just want to make sure the motor's rotating the right way. We've got steering, and then we'll neaten that wiring up, and then we'll talk about wheels. Why is my steering twitching when I touch the throttle? What's going? Oh, I know why. I've got the mode setting on here to my nitro. Right, hang on. There we go. Right, anyway. Steering correct. Throttle. That gearbox is spinning very fast compared to them wheels. Don't want to change the gearbox, but we may have to. That's only on 2S. So let's talk about wheels. Because wheels are probably one of the most important things to consider when doing speed runs. These are GRPs specifically done for kind of high speed stuff. And I thought these would be perfect. And I'd already got some 12mm to 17mm adapters. There's a couple of problems with that though. The hex that's on there, you see it's got that little ridge on it, which won't go through there, so you'd have to drill that out a bit, which I didn't really want to do. Then the other thing was it kind of sat quite far in because of the offset. It reduced my track width, which is going to affect its stability massively. Then I had an idea to take the hex out the middle, drill some holes in it, use the adapter that comes with the Vanquish, fit that in there. However, as you'll see by them holes, I kind of struggled to get it lined up properly. I found it pretty difficult. I'm sure there was an easier way. Anyway, so scrapped that idea and then dug my foams out. Slightly bigger than the GRPs, but again, with the offset, it just brings that track in and you're going to have stability issues. But I have a cunning plan.
Don't worry, Mr. B. I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
Rather than using the wheel the conventional way, flip it round. That then changes your offset. Screw the adapter in from the other side, which is way easier, like so. And then not only do you have a nice fitment, you also get some track width. Genius, I know. They look a bit funny, but function over fashion. So the Vanquish comes with rear adapters and then smaller front ones. It comes with 2 sets, well mine, at least mine did anyway. So rear adapters for front. I'm also going to use rear adapters on the rear. It might mean that the back sticks out a little bit more, but that's fine. And I think that may work quite well. And the reason it's actually easier to put the adapters on this way, so your 6-bolt pattern sits right in the corner of them hexes. So all I've done is drilled a hole. It's actually just slightly away from that on the hex. So what I've been doing is drilling a hole pretty much on that corner, taking a little bit of material away from there, lining the adapter up. Bob's your uncle. Wow, there you go. I was wrong actually on the track width. The front's wider, isn't it? So putting the rear ones on the front has made the front a wider track than the rear. But I thought about swapping it out. I was like, no, we'd leave the front wide for the time being because it might actually help with a bit of stability. They've gone on really well. I need to throw a battery in and actually make sure they're straight. A little bit of wobble, but it's geared so low. So low. I might have to just go on a bigger pinion straight away, I think, before we even test that, because that wheel speed doesn't seem all that good. Anyway, we'll look at that in a minute. Now we need to work on the ride height. I think all I'm going to do initially, rather than looking for some shocks, I'm going to limit these, although I've got quite a bit of droop in them, but I'm going to limit them. So we've just got a tiny bit at the bottom there, so we can get that ride height down to probably about that point there. I think that should work. We might lift the back up a little bit so we've got a bit of rake. So sorting suspension out is relatively easy. Take it all apart, get your shock shaft out, get some fuel hose, and that's going to slide over the shock shaft. So it's just about cutting the right amount off to get the travel you want. I think I'm going to reduce the rear by about 50%, so I'm going to measure the distance between where the threaded bit is there and in the centre of the shaft there. Put the shock back together. I'm going to put thicker shock oil in this time, and then it should be good. So getting the shock back together, exactly the same as how you build them. It's just a bit more fiddly getting the shock end on and getting the spring on because you've got less shaft to play with. I've put 700 weight oil in, that should be good enough. I do the same to the other rear shock, and then the front ones I'm going to restrict a little bit more, so we've got a bit of rake in the chassis, so the front pointing down, which looks Just like that. I swapped out the shocks on the front, so stock ones out. Those are off my Sen Racing F450. They fit in there quite nicely. Just had to take the ball mount thing out there. They went on there all right. I did put a small amount of limit on there, and that's given us that nice rake. And this should keep us within the rules of having some suspension. Look, we've still got some flex there. And the same on the rear. Pretty solid though. Pretty solid, but we've got suspension. A little bit on the front, and that's just enough just to absorb some of the shock as we're going along. I think we're ready for the first test. Oh, I forgot to mention, you can't see it under there. I've swapped out the pinion, taken off the 13 tooth, and I've put a 17 tooth on there. I did elongate the motor holes. Tried it with a 13 tooth in my workshop on 2S, and it pretty much got to top speed within about 2 meters. So 17 tooth on there now. It's giving it a bit more wheel speed. I need to wait till the weekend now before I can test it. Weather's looking good, so I will see you there. So here we go, first official VSpeed monthly Mayhem run. So we've got the Sky RC GPS in there. I've got the GPS for the transmitter on as well. That seems to be working. So we got 2 on there. I'm gonna go this way. Just get it going straight. It is a bit windy today. The steering's a bit twitchy. 2S pass, here we go. That's full throttle straight away. we definitely need to do something. Was that even 20 mile an hour? I bet no one else treats you to that in their videos. I think that was the Swiss Air Force. I think. 31 kilometers an hour. My transmitter's saying 33 kilometers an hour. 31. That is 19 miles an hour. 2S, first official run. Oh, a bit disappointing. Right, 3S. I promise the next time we're out for a speed run, it will be painted. That's next week's job. Oh, it's a bit more pep now. That steering's definitely twitchy with them wheels like that. Oh, steering. That is screaming. Whoa. Whoa. No! Low speed crash, we're good. So 47 kilometers an hour on my onboard. What? Hang on, don't tell me I wasn't recording that one. No. No. Whoa, no way. That was a big crash. Whoa, no. I wasn't even going that fast. Oh, why is it not recording? No. Do you know why it's not recording? I'd not put it back in after changing the battery. What an absolute knock. Oh man, that's funny. I thought I was going mad. No! Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Something's broke. No, my GPS. No. No. Looks like it's still working. That was a bad crash. 28 mile an hour, 45 kilometers an hour. So 47 on the transmitter wasn't far off. That is all we're doing for today. Let's assess the damage. So we did suffer some damage, unfortunately. Split the rear there, also on there. Luckily these side panels are separate so they can come off and it's just the bare cage. But I think it'll look all right once it is painted. Scratch the front up there. Bit of scratching on the top. This has still got the clear film on it, so we might not be as bad as it looks. And then underneath you may see that that looks a little bit out of alignment. It's not as bad as it looks. We've just stretched a rod end. It's not broken, it's stretched it right out. I think that's the only damage. That's pretty good going. So I've been sat with a coffee for a while, pondering my next move with this. I don't want to say that was a fail because we did get a speed out of it. What was it, 40? I think the GPS said 44 kilometers an hour and the transmitter said, I think it said 47. By the time I realised that I didn't put the GPS in it, it kind of, some of the battery juice had run down a little bit. But let's go in the middle, let's say about 46 kilometres an hour. So we still got a speed out of it. I'm not happy with that. I don't think that wide stance helped. The track width on the front and the grip from these tyres, it just wasn't going straight. It was properly like trying to pull it over like that. So first thing we're going to do is think about the wheels and tyres. I've got some 12mm to 17mm adapters. I'm not sure how well they'll work. We will need to change the hex on there because of that ridge I've spoken about, because this just takes normal 12mm ones. And then we're going to switch over, if we can, to some Hoons. These are for an infraction. These are silvers, which are a little bit harder. I'm hoping that'll give us a little bit of slip, so it won't, as soon as it was turning, it was gripping up and throwing it. So don't want as much traction. So Hoons, 17mm adapters, and then I'm going to talk about phase 2. It's pretty clear that although that's 7,700 kV, I don't think this thing can be geared up enough to get a decent speed out of it. So I think I'm gonna have to go all in. But that's for another day. Today, I will get this body painted. So even if phase 2 is also a fail, at least it'll look almost like an actual truck. Phase 2 complete, and that took a lot longer than I anticipated. And you'll see why in a second. But first I want to show you the body. Body is painted, not completely finished yet. I've not done the interior, but body is painted. New wheels are on. Let's have a look. Check it out. Subtle Team TRC colours with the green and the black on there. Shark grey, black arches. I've cut the grille out and put a bit of mesh behind there. A few choice decals on the side there. Turned out all right, apart from my little bruises on the rear corners. I left the original wheel hexes on. I just drilled out a little bit on the inside of these adapters, just so it slid over a little bit easier. And I'm not sure whether you're ready to see what I've done to this thing. I've gone all in on this. I've scratched on my head for a couple of days and came up with this little idea. Now, before we take the body off, I'm just going to show you this. No diff in the front there, which means, yes, we've gone rear wheel drive. And the reason we've gone rear wheel drive is because I've gone for direct drive. I've taken the original gearbox out, I've thrown a Hobbywing Easy Run 2250 kV censored brushless motor in there with the updated censored Max 8 there. This may be the last you see of the Vanquish Phoenix. I've not touched anything else as far as the geometry goes. Brought the steering link in just a little bit, just to give me a little bit of toe in. Rear wheel drive, bit of weight there. As soon as it accelerates, I'm hoping that that will just bring the wheels out a little bit to true. Battery tray no longer fits in there, and it's mounted in there on a carbon fibre boat motor mount. Bit of cutting and shutting using parts I had lying around. Watch how smooth it is, being it's a censored motor. Watch how smooth this is. This is just 2S at the moment. You could almost crawl with it. Look at that, so smooth. So I need to sort a gyro out, and then we're going to take it out for a bit of a test. I'm going to take a 2S, a 3S and 4S, but I think just on 2S, with that being direct drive, we may see a new PB for this thing. Right, it's just on 2S at the moment, but I've got two 2S batteries in there just to keep the balance there, and then we'll switch to 4S. If it goes well on 2, there's no point doing 4S if I can't even keep it straight on 2. But anyway, let's give it a go. Let's go a quick run. That's not bad. Gently slow it down. That was probably faster than we got with the stock gearbox. Oh, do need to be really careful with that steering. 35 mile an hour, that is not bad. The GPS on my transmitter says 58 kilometers an hour. 35 mile an hour. So I'm just gonna make a few tweaks to the steering.
Center trim.
That felt pretty quick. Oh, 40 mile an hour, that was sketchy. I need to go faster. Oh, I've not got full throttle yet on this. I'm scared. That's full throttle. Slow it down, gently, gently. 48 mile an hour. I am happy with that. If I don't get any faster, I am happy with 48 mile an hour. That is crazy. 79 kilometers an hour according to my transmitter. You know what that means now then, don't you? We're now running 4S. Well, here goes nothing. Way more sensitive on the throttle as you'd expect, so I need to be really careful. Really careful. My little heart is beating. Oh, I can't do it. I'm too scared. Yeah, that's 42 and I bottled it. There's a bit of a side wind as well today. Probably not helping much. Ugh, that felt a bit faster. No! Oh, my wheels come off. Shit! No! Oh, my wheels come off. Oh, found that. Good find. Oh, it's the hex that came off. Oh, when my GPS is gone as well. No. Oh, there's my GPS. Disaster. 51 mile an hour. So we sustained a little bit of damage on the body, but everything's back together. I recovered all the parts and it had just come off. Rear wheel nuts are now Loctited on there. Let's try again. I don't think I've ever been this nervous doing a speed run. Nah. Come away from the grass. Whew. Oh, it's pulling quite a bit to one side now. Just for reference, that was 50 mile an hour I got down there that time without crashing. Right, final run. Let's go. Come on, little Phoenix. Don't want to go straight. No. Ah, mind the grass. Whew. I've got to slow it down so much. Oh, don't know. Let's bring it back. Clean run. Let's bring it back. I don't want to jinx myself. Let's bring it back. Oh, I'm not sure if that was faster. 52. We got 52 as a clean run. I think that's a pretty good score. That's 84 kilometers an hour. Right, now we've got a clean run. Let's see if we can improve it. Oh, that felt a bit quicker. I got to gently slow it down. It's going out. Ugh. Ah! Oh, I definitely didn't slide it over 50. So, do you know what? My transmitter says 96 kilometers an hour. Oh, I shouldn't have crashed. I should have just brought it back. Well, let's hope that they take pity on me for this one. Yes, 60 mile an hour. Picture of the transmitter so you can see. All right, here we go. Here we go. Gently squeeze in. No, it's all over the place. Oh, something's come off. Something's come off. I got no brakes. I got no brakes. I got no brakes. Ah! No, it's gone. Right, hang on. So it didn't crash, it didn't roll or anything by the looks, so it just veered off. I know what my transmitter says. 62, 101 kilometers an hour my transmitter says. Nice. Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was the drive shaft. It's a bit grey, isn't it? Grey, 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 white. So, 62 mile an hour. I'm hoping I can have that speed. I haven't looked at the footage yet, but I don't think it rolled. And then the 60 mile an hour, I think I got 60 on the way down, and on the run back, we flipped it over. But again, 60, 62 mile an hour. The only clean run was, what was it, 52, but still, that's mad for a rear wheel drive crawler. So although I did recover the drive shaft, play was stopped because we broke the servo horn, although I don't know whether I would have done any more runs anyway. 101, look, 101 kilometers an hour. That was so much fun and so scary all in one. So difficult to keep it straight. Suffered a bit of damage, it's gone through the body there, it's a shame. And on that corner, might have to get a roof rack for it. That was already damaged, but it's pulled that up, but I could probably heat that up and bend that back. That side's all right. I did pull these out, but I put them back in. And I don't think it did too bad considering it rolled at, you know, quite considerable speed. I hope we're all trustworthy here. I mean, I've got nothing to hide. Two 2S batteries. I ran it on a single one first to get that 40 mile an hour. I managed to get full throttle on that. And had two in series linked up that way. Every time I rolled it though, because they're only held on with Velcro, they kept falling off. And last minute I stole the gyro out of my drift car. And also halfway through that run, I don't think I showed it, I switched my GPS to inside, and I wasn't taking any risks this time, so I 3D printed a box for it. Because this poor little thing on the last run of this, yeah, we destroyed it. I can't believe that held in there. It's only held on by a couple of screws down there each side and at the front there. That's mad. So I don't really know what direction to take with this now. I'm not sure I'm going to get it any faster. We definitely need four-wheel drive to get a bit more traction on there. To get the wheel speed four-wheel drive, just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Got about a week left and then I'm going away. I'm going to mull it over for a little bit, see if I can think of anything to do. If not, we'll come back, have a little summary. I think 60 plus is a reasonable speed for a crawler. We'll see you in a bit. It's been a little while now, I've been away for a bit, spent a bit of time with family. And in the last week we've seen what the other guys are doing. And if I'm honest with you, I'm a little bit worried. Not only were the pictures revealed on the story in a competition to see who got that bonus 5 mile an hour, which was Scale Builders Guild. If you hadn't seen that, you won't be sure what I'm talking about, but man, they have gone to town on some of theirs. And yeah, it made me feel like I've not made enough effort on the aero. Hence why I've done this. And it's an engineering masterpiece. This is an old front wing off an Armour Limitless, chopped in half, a bit of 18mm tube in there with some threaded inserts holding it on there securely with a bit of grip lock. So it's easily removable. And I've covered the bed, a little bit of tape on there. We've got a spoiler. The other option is to tuck that underneath the bar so we don't have a spoiler. No fancy carbon fibre here, just my sacrificial storage box. Like I said, an engineering masterpiece. Now, I didn't go for aero on this straight away because I didn't think it'd need it. And running this thing over 60 mile an hour, it didn't seem to get any lift from the front or any crazy out of control moments. So I've put these on here purely to see if it helps me go in a straight line. Nothing's changed underneath, still direct rear wheel drive. I've got a big 3S LiPo I'm going to try, and I've added some ballast this side. But before I try that battery, I'm just going to try these little 2S ones in series. So we've got 4S, but these are really small and light. They pack a bit of a punch. They're probably good for one run. So we're going to try that first. And then as long as we don't bin it, we'll try it with that 3S. It's Monday tomorrow. I will not be able to run this anywhere on a Monday. It's the last day of the challenge tomorrow. So this is my last chance. Can we beat my current PB? I don't know how fast we've got to go to win this thing. I've seen some sneak peeks of some of the guys running theirs. They look fast. So let's just go and have some fun. Probably not going to talk much on these speed runs. I'm going to put all my effort and all my concentration into getting this thing going straight. Let's see how we get on. So you'll see in the video this green tyre wrap on the suspension. It's not there for any cheating purposes. The suspension still works as it should. I've put it on there to stop the side-to-side axle movement. I'll take that off and I'll show you, but like I said, it's not there to slam the suspension down. I'll snip it off. So that's what it was there for. When you see it in the video when this thing's on its side, which is a few times, just there for a bit of extra stability. So the very first punch of the throttle nearly ended in absolute disaster. Just missed the grass, and that was 59. So I knew we were in for a good run with that small burst there. Now on this run, I put my big boy pants on, and when I got it past me, I punched full throttle and just let it run. Now, initially I thought I'd lost signal, but I just lost sight of it, and it went onto the grass, and I tried to recover it, and if we look at the onboard footage, you'll see what happened. So you can hear that going up, and then you'll hear me punch full throttle, and this is full throttle for a good few seconds here. Slowed it down, misjudged how fast I was actually going and hit the grass, tried to bring it back round, didn't realise I'd flipped it on its side, and you can hear me trying to recover it even though the car's on its side. Anyway, very small, minor crash. Jumped in the car, it was quite some distance away, so I thought I'd better drive down there. As you can see, on its side, there's me pulling up. And you wait till you see this speed. Although I didn't sound that excited, I really was. $71 mile an hour. 71. Let's go. So the SkyRC GPS said 71 mile an hour, which is 114 kilometers an hour. The transmitter with the WFly GPS on board said 116 kilometers an hour, which is 72 mile an hour. Gave the batteries a quick charge again and then went straight back out. And pass after pass, near miss after near miss. I got a 65 mile an hour. This is my cleanest run now. So I lose sight a little bit, lose signal this time. You can hear the transmitter. And you'll see here, it just rolls up onto the grass. I managed to get signal back again, and I'm able to reverse it and recover it, drive it back. Drive it back, and this is the top speed for my cleanest run without crashing. You hear it go past there, 99 kilometers an hour. That's obviously the return speed. The fastest speed I got was going on the way down, and you'll see 69 miles an hour. Fastest clean run, 69, gets in. I kept going 4 or 5 passes. I kept crashing it, kept rolling onto its side, having to go and recover it in the car. I'm glad I put a camera on board because you can see the crashes. You can see they're not that bad. It's just when I'm trying to turn, it just gets a bit of grip and it just rolls over onto its side. It's because I couldn't see it. It's so far away, it's hard to actually see how fast it's going and kind of what position it is. That dual rate really low as well. It's not got a very tight turning signal. Another 69 mile an hour run. And this is with a 3S run, the final run of the day, and yeah, ended in disaster. Oh, huge crash. Oh, I survived so well up until this point, but that looks like it's not survived that crash. There's definitely a wheel in the way. What else have we broke? Well, there's the wheel. Oh, my camera. At least we got that. It might just be a wheel, you know. Wheel. Camera.
Receiver, battery.
Wheel nut. Oh, screw. Oh, what's happened here then? Oh, steering's broke again. Question is, how fast was that? Oh, 69 again. Oh, come on. From runway to workbench. Oh, I'd say that was relatively successful. Obviously we got one, maybe two clean runs, 71 for the dirty run. And from what I've seen on some of the sneak peeks on the Instagram group for the monthly Mayhem, a lot of people are crashing. So I'm hoping that the dirty speed is accepted. Obviously all you pro speed runners out there, you have to bring it back to yourself. It has to be a clean run, or you have to do both ways. For this, I think it's just about seeing how fast we can push this. 71, that's mad. And about 4 back-to-back runs of 69. Ooh. Anyway, relatively unscathed. Just looks like the wheel has come off the hex. Bit wobbly there, maybe it needs to go on a bit better. Battery rolling around in there, last couple of runs, where with the 3S and the ballast in there. 69 mile an hour on 3S and 71 on 4S for these little ones. So I think the motor was really pulling as much out of that as it could. So I'm pretty sure I had full throttle. Everything else in there is good. Also when it crashed, it just pulled the steering link out. Could probably screw that back in, you know. How about that, eh? Just pulled out. So that should now be a fully functional truck again. Did this aero work? I think it did. It was a little bit more stable. I was able to get full throttle, but the little tie wrap mod there to stop that side to side movement on the rear, I think that was a little mod that helped with its stability as well. About 10 minutes after that run, the heavens just opened. So that was perfect timing. We had about a 2 hour window to get the speed runs done. Beat the previous PB by 9 mile an hour. Successful day, I would say. So what I'm gonna do is get the footage sorted tonight, and then we'll come back tomorrow on the last day and have a little summary of the challenge. What an enjoyable month. So that's it, the monthly Mayhem challenge is over. And after looking back over the footage, I am super happy with my results. To confirm, 71 mile an hour, unless you go off the W-Fly GPS where it was 72 mile an hour, take your pick. If someone else gets exactly 71, then we'll go with 72. And then a clean pass of 69 mile an hour. It did lose signal, but looking back at the footage, you'll see that it just rolled up onto the grass. We managed to recover it and get it back in one piece. So it's been a busy month, but it's been awesome. I hope to get involved in some more. And if I do get invited back, I promise to make a little bit more effort on the aesthetics of my build. It's crazy to think that this motor and ESC are now going into my infraction to push for over 100 mile an hour in that thing. That's how much power it's got. Massive thanks to Harley Designs and Scale Builders Guild for letting me get involved in this. Remember, as well as their videos to check out, also check out the other guys involved. RC Review, CCX RC, K-Pop RC, West Desert Wheeler, Terps and Jerps. And I think that's all. My drive shaft's hanging off because I finished this thing off with a little smoky burnout. Cheers for watching, hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time. We definitely need to do something. No! Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That felt a bit faster. No! Oh, my wheels come off. Shit. Oh, something's come off. Something's come off. I got no brakes. I got no brakes. Huge crash. So the very first punch of the throttle nearly ended in absolute disaster. Just missed the grass. 71 mile an hour. 71. Let's go.